Hi guys, I hope you are doing well. In this session, we are going to talk about Pandas DataFrame Operations. In this session, you will learn about DataFrame head or tail method, how you can slicing the data from DataFrame, how we can check the shape of DataFrame, how we can set the properties of display setting, DataFrame information, data types, and most usable function which is describe. Right? So guys, really this session will be very informative for everyone. So let's go to the Jupyter notebook. So first of all, let me import the library of pandas. So import pandas as PD. So guys, after the importing the library of pandas, let me read the data. So guys, this is my Excel data. I want to read in data frame. So how we can do that? So I'm taking a variable which is df equal to PD, which is read Excel, and the file name which is random sales data, right? This one. Now guys, let me show you the data from the df. So df, which is head. So guys, using this function, we can display the first 5 rows from the data frame by default. In case you want to more rows, then you can pass the number inside the parenthesis. Okay. So now I'm going to run this particular cell. So you can see that I'm getting the first 5 rows. Okay. So these are the columns and these are the data. In case you want to get the more rows, so you can supply that particular number within the parenthesis. So for an example, here I'm going to pass the number which is 10. So I want to display the top 10 rows using the head function. So you can display the 10 rows using the head function. Fine. So guys, head function is very useful for the checking the data. In case, let's say if I'm using here df.head and here I am passing the -1. So what it means? So guys, here using the -1, you can display all the data except the last row, right? So let me show you the how many of rows and columns I have. So we can check df.shape, right? So using the shape, we can display the how many of rows and columns I have in the form of tuple data structure. So you can see that I have 5,684 rows and 9 columns. So how we can display that message? So print total rows. So simple df.shape, and I'm going to access the first element from the tuple and print total columns. And I can access df.shape, which is 1. So these are the rows and column. Fine. Now I'm going to tell you the tail method. So df.tail. This method by default returns the last 5 rows. You can see that. So these are the last 5 rows. In case you want to supply the any number, so based on that number, that will be display all the rows from the bottom. Fine. Now I'm using here df.tail and here -1. So guys, this method will display all the data except first row of the data frame. Let me execute. So you can see here, I'm not getting the first row, right? And apart from that, I'm getting all the data. Okay, so guys, these concepts you need to remember in case you want to show the data quickly. So guys, now the question is how we can display the column from the data frame. So simple, we can write here df.columns. So guys, these are my columns, right? And another method is you can use print, which is df.columns, which is values, and to list. In case you want to display all the column in the form of list data structure, this one. Or you can use df.columns, which is values, right? And also you can use df.keys, right? So guys, these are the method to display the columns from the data frame. Now, in case, let's say I want to access only the first 3 columns, then how can I do that? So simple df.columns dot values, I can use the slicing concept, this one. So I can access the first 3 columns, right? In case I want to reverse the all the columns, then how can I reverse? Simple, I can apply the concept of list slicing, this one. So I can have the all the columns in the reverse order, right? So guys, using these method, I can display all the columns, right? Now the question is how to get the index from the data frame. Okay, so guys, this is like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. These are the index. So how can I display the index? So simple df dot index dot values. So guys, here my index is starting from 0 and the end of the index, which is 5,683, right? So in case, let's say I want to get only the first 10 index, then how can I do that? So simple df dot index, which is values, and here I can use this concept. Fine. In case I want to apply a loop, so simple index, which is values, and I want to access the top 100 index, right? So I can use the here print. Fine. So this is the method by which we can access the index. So index means I'm going to access the rows of the data frame. This is the columns of the data frame, right? These things you need to remember. Now the question is how we can slicing the data from the data frame. Okay. So guys, this is the data frame. So here, in case, let's say you want to get the some specific record, let's say 10 to 20. Yes, I can get the record from 10 to 20. So this 20 will be exclusive, right? Let's say here, I want all the records from 0 to 20 and every fifth record I want. So I can use the 5 here. So I will get the every fifth record. That will be start from 0 and so on, right? In the same way, you can use the negative slicing as well. So df, which is -5, and -1. So in the data frame, you can use the negative indexing as well, right? So this is the data. Now the question is how to get the data based on even row. Okay. So from this entire data frame, I want to display all the even row, right? So how can I display all the even row? So guys, this is my data frame name and I'm going to start from 0. And this is the length of data frame and the step size is 2. So guys, here you can see that the data is showing based on even rows, right? Top 5 rows and bottom 5 rows. So guys, now I'm going to tell you the very interesting concept when I'm going to print the DF, right? So by default, if you are printing the DF, you will get the top 5 rows and bottom 5 rows. Okay. Now the question is, how can I display the entire data from the DF? So guys, first of all, we have to set the property for the max row, right? So how we can do that? So there is a function which is PD, which is set option, right? And here you can use display, which is max rows. And here you need to set the property which is none, right? Now let me run this particular cell. Now let me print the DF. So guys, it will take the couple of seconds to read the data from the data frame. Now you can see that in this particular data frame, I'm going to show entire the data, right? But guys, remember one thing, no need to display the data if the data size is long because it will take long time to display, right? And another method you can use for the display, which is PD set option. And here you can use max rows and simple, you can use the none. Both are the same, fine. So guys, now the question is how we can reset the display setting, right? So simple PD dot reset option. And here we can use display, which is max rows, right? So now it is back to normal. So let me print the DF. So you can see that. So by default, it will be show the top 5 rows and bottom 5 rows. Fine. So guys, now let me tell you the another concept. Here you can see that the product column. In this product column, the first product name is not showing the entire name, right? So the question is how we can expand the width of column. Okay. So first of all, let me check what is the current width of this particular column. So how we can check pd.get option. And here you can use display, which is max and width. So here call width, right? So guys, this is the number which is 50. 50 means I have all the columns width which is 50, right? And the same for the product. Now the question is how we can reset the properties of this particular column, right? So how we can do that? So simple pd dot set option. And here we can use display, which is max call width. And here I can pass 100, right? Now let me show you df.head. Now I am able to see the entire name of this product, right? So guys, here we have checked how we can check the column width and how we can set the maximum row. Now the question is how we can set the maximum column, right? So simple, we can use here PD, or let me read the another data frame, right? So let's say sales equal to PD dot read Excel. And here I'm going to read this order, right? Now let me use sales.head. So guys, here you can see that the first column, which is starting from row ID, order date, and so on. And after the city, the few column is hidden, right? So the question is, how can I display all the columns in the data frame, right? So guys, here you can also check, I have 5 rows and 22 columns, right? So let me check by default how many columns we have. So get option, which is display max columns. So by default, we can display the 20 columns, right? Now let me reset, which is set option. And here I can use display, which is max columns. And I'm going to supply here none, right? Now let me read the data once again. So guys, you can see that it has to be sales. So here, after the city, we have state and postal code, then region. City, state and postal code and region, right? These things you need to remember. So guys, we have set the properties of display max row, display column width, and display max column. Now the question is how we can reset all the properties using the single command, right? So we can use pd, which is the reset option, and you can use exponential, and you can type here display. This command will reset all display setting, right? So once again, you can see that, right? So guys, these things you need to remember. Now the question is how you can get the specific column from the data frame, right? So let's say this is the columns. I want reason. So df, in the long bracket, you can define reason. So guys, when you are going to display of the any column, right, you will get the top 5 rows and bottom 5 rows. Apart from that column name, what is the length of column and what is the data type of that column, which is object, right? In case you want to display the more columns or more than one column, then how you can display? So df, in the long bracket, you need to type location, right? And you need to enclosed by the another long bracket. Fine. Now I want reason, and only the 5 records I want. This one. Fine. But remember one thing. As of now, what is this? This is the series. So if you will check the type of this particular thing, you will get the series. In case if you are checking the type of this one, so you will get the data frame. So which is type and this one. So when you are going to display the data frame, you will not get these kind of details. These details you can get only for the single column. But in case you want to check all the data types, so here you can write the command which is info. So df.info, right? So guys, using this command, you can display all the columns and data type of that particular column, and you can check the status of null, right? So let me run this. So here you can see that this is the data frame, which is df is a data frame, and how many entries we have, which is from 0 to 5683. Total column, we have 9 column, and these are the column name, and this is the non-null count. You can see that some of the columns we have null as well, right? And this is the data type. Object is represent to the string. This is integer, and the price and total sale amount in the form of float, right? So you can see here the data type. The 2 is the data type in the form of float, 1 data type in the form of integer 64, and 6 data type in the form of string, right? And this is the memory size of the data frame, right? So this is like very useful method to display all the status of data frame. Now in some cases, if you want to display only the data types, so simple, you can use here df.dtypes, simple, right? Or in some cases, let's say you want to check the specific column data type, then how you can check? So df, you can define here, let's say reason and d types. So it is returning me a O, it means object. In case, let's say you are using this particular statement within the print, then of course you will get the object, right? So now guys, I am telling you the another method which is describe, df.describe. So guys, df.describe is very useful function, right? It is used to view some basic statistical details like percentile, mean, standard deviation, min, max, etc. And it will give you the detail based on the columns of the numerical value. Now let me run this statement. So you can see here. So guys, here count, min, mean or max are self-explanatory, right? And let me tell you how we can use the standard deviation here. So let me open the Excel. Now I want to calculate the standard deviation of the total sales amount, right? So STDEV, so this is the particular function. And here I'm getting 120.13 and so on. So the same I'm getting here, right? So guys, what is the means of standard deviation? So guys, standard deviation is very important concept to check the variance of the data, right? It means when your standard deviation is high, it means your data having high variance, or it indicates value are spread out over a wider range. And when it is low, means your data is close to your average. So guys, if the standard deviation is low, so we can say that we have slightly variance in our data, right? And we can call our data having low standard deviation. Once again, standard deviation will tell you your data is close to your average or not. So let me check the standard deviation, which is 120, right? So here, if I'm finding the min of value, right? So I'm getting this one. Sorry, let me check the minimum value. So guys, this is my min value. And in case I want to check the max value, and this is my the max value. So guys, you can see that there are big difference between these two value, which is 12.42 and 533.5, right? There are huge difference between these two values. That's why my standard deviation is high, right? Okay, I will give you the another example to understand the standard deviation. Okay, now let me tell you what is this. Some people think this is the percentage. So guys, this is not a percentage. This is the percentile of the data, which indicates your rank of the data, right? So here, what is the means of 25%? So guys, it means 25% of your data in total sales amount is less than 49.68. Let me check in the Excel. So guys, this is the count of my data. Now I'm going to apply a normal formula, and here I want to check which is less than 49.7 approximately. So you can see that if I'm going to divide this particular number by the total number, then I'm getting the 25%. In the same way, let me check for the 75%. It means the 75% of the data in total sales amount is less than from this number, right? Once again, which is countif, and here I want to check which is less than 142.6, or let's say 5 approximately. Now I'm going to divide this number once again. So you can see that approximately 75% of my the data is less than this particular number. Okay, so guys, really this df.describe function is very useful to display the statics information from your data frame, right? In case let's say you want to check only for the specific column, yes, you can check for the specific column. How we can do that? So df, which is total sales amount, and here you can write the describe. So now you can see that you can check all the details for the total sales amount, right? So guys, now let me give you another example to understand the standard deviation, right? So I'm taking a variable which is well equal to pd.series, and here I'm going to pass this list, right? Now let me write here describe. So guys, here you can see that here my standard deviation is like very low. It means all the value approximately close to your average. So you can see that 34, 35, which is 40, 36, these are the values close to average. Okay, it means I have slightly variance in our data from the average, right? In case, let me change this value, and here for an example, if I'm passing here 300, or let's say here is 0 and 400. Now let me run this well, which is describe. Now you can see that now the standard deviation is very high. So it means the average here, which is 77. Now this is 300, 34, 35. These are the values not to close my the average. It means I have high variance in my data. Okay. Now the question is, let's say in some cases you want to check only the standard deviation from the data frame, right? So for an example, df, and here let's say price, and I want to check only the standard deviation. Yes, we can check. Okay. In case, let's say you want to check the mean for the two column, yes, you can check for the mean for the two column. For an example, this is price, and the next column is total sales amount, right? And here you can pass the mean. Yes, we can check the mean of these particular column, right? So guys, I hope you understood the concept of describe function in greater details and how we can display the data based on the rows and column, how we can set the properties, how we can reset the properties, how we can check the columns max length, how we can check the column widths, and how we can check the data types and data info for the data frame. Okay. So guys, in case do you have any question, please let me know in the comments. So guys, please practice of this session as much as you can. Thanks for watching and have a great day.